Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the People's Choice Podcast. This is episode 21. I'm here with amazing, talented, real inspirational, for at least to me, for all the traveling and stuff that you do, Camp Cleveland. Thank you for being a part of my podcast, sir. Let me give you the clap.
Peace, family. Thank you for inviting me on the podcast. I truly appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, man. So you've done so much. I mean, you're a historian, you're a genealogist, you're a student of middle child education, independent hip hop artist, an author. You visit over 45 states and 70 countries now, right? Over 70 countries. You've recorded music with people in the Netherlands, South Africa, Singapore, several other countries. I mean, I can go on and on, man. You've done so much. Also, one thing I love that I've seen that you take adults, middle schoolers, and high schoolers and college students on educational tours to Africa. I mean, that's amazing and so much more, man.
Thank you.
So let's start off with the first question. What's your upbringing? Like, where are you from originally?
Oh, okay. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I was born and raised there, Shout out to Cleveland.
That's what's up. What was it like growing up for you in Cleveland, Ohio?
Cleveland is a rough place. I mean, it ain't no different from Detroit or Chicago or New Orleans or Harlem, Baltimore. We got it hard, a lot of black people growing up. But my childhood, it was cool for the most part. We had fun. I just was blessed. My mom, she used to drive the Greyhound bus, so she was able to take me on trips and stuff. So, me and my sister, we would ride with her to places like New York or Chicago, Cincinnati, places within driving distance and stuff like that. So that's when I developed a love for traveling.
Awesome. And what was high school like for you?
High school was cool, man. I moved around a lot, so I went to like 4 different high schools, but I always got along with people, made friends real fast, So, it kind of helped me out later in life, going to different countries and being able to get to know people.
And that's amazing because, like, I went through the same thing. Well, I went to 3 different high schools, and then, I went 3 high schools, 1 middle school, and then, 8 elementary school. So meeting people, yeah. I mean, nothing new to me either, but it's really a blessing and a curse, really, because it's like, dang, you got to meet new people. So it's like, you're like, man, do I want to keep doing this? But then it's also like, it helped you, like you said, later on in life, like it has with me, like with podcasting and reaching out to different people and connecting people on many different levels. So we got something in common.
Man. Yeah, you hate moving when you're young.
Yeah.
Move around, but that's life. You got cards, you got to play them the best way you can. So.
Amen to that, man. So when did you recognize or realize, I should say, that you wanted to be a genealogist and travel?
I mean, as far as the travel, it started with my family. My mom just, taking the time out to take us to different places. And she used to try to organize tours and stuff, try to get her brothers and sisters and friends to see new places and stuff like that. So I started my own travel business. So I take different groups of African Americans to different parts of Africa, different countries. So, I always admired African people and African history. My mom, she gave me my first Black history book, Black History A to Z. You know what I'm saying? My great grandfather, my mother's grandfather, he was a member of the UNIA. My grandmother used to tell me about him. I never met him, but she used to tell me about the Marcus Garvey parades and the raising of the red, black, and green flag. She was there. She would tell me the things her father would say. He felt like we was all Africans and we should go back to Africa instead of trying to, stay in America and fight. And, her son, my uncle, my mom's brother, he started his own Black Power organization, you know what I'm saying, in the 1960s in Cleveland. So they was at the forefront of bringing that African history, African culture and dance and music and language to the city of Cleveland. So it's something that kind of runs in my family, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to take it to the next level.
My peeps, what's good? Just want to give a quick pause, real quick, and let you guys know how amazing and blessed I am to be a part of an amazing nonprofit organization like Bluer Futures. Yes, Bluer Futures. For y'all who haven't seen my promos that I've been posting these few weeks, Bluer Futures is an amazing nonprofit ocean cleanup organization that literally takes plastic out of the ocean and turns them into things like plastic bricks for people's houses, for homeless shelters, student merchandise. Fun fact: did you guys know it only takes 10, yes, 10 plastic bottles to make a t-shirt? That's crazy because I buy like the packs at like Walmart or other places and stuff, literally 40 to a little bag thing, whatever you want to call it, and it only takes 10. Literally, that's 4 t-shirts I could make just from that, and you can too. There's literally so much really change things because Bluer Future cares, just like your People's Choice, Mr. People's Choice himself, Alvin Peoples cares. So please check out their website at bluerfutures.org. Check them out on social media, bluerfutures.org. You'll hear me shouting them out, plugging them in each of my videos because I really believe in their vision and where they want to take this thing. And I believe that they could take this to the next level of just making this world a better place. So please join us, bluerfutures.org. All donations, literally, it's a nonprofit organization. All donations will go to the organization to make things better. It's not going to be pocketed by me or anybody from there. So trust me, your money's safe. For those who donate, check us out on social media. And of course, continue to check out the People's Choice podcast and enjoy the show. Take care, guys. And that's awesome, man. And you definitely have taken to the next level, especially with all your traveling. Like in 2014, you studied abroad at, am I saying this right? Is it UB? Is that how you say it in Dominican Republic? UB?
Oh, Unibe.
Yeah.
That's like
I
a
mispronounced some of these words. I'm sorry.
no, it's all good. That's like an abbreviation. Unibe, Universidad Iberoamericana.
And you studied Caribbean diseases and Dominican history. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was real cool. Yeah, I was blessed, man. I was going to community college. That's all I attended was community colleges in America. But
Mm-hmm.
I found a program because they offer like study abroad programs, but it was like places to like France or China.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go somewhere where it was people that looked at like me. You know what I'm saying? Black people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good experience. The people in the Dominican Republic were real cool, real friendly people, very beautiful country, very beautiful people, good food, good music. But I was studying, yeah, I took a class on Caribbean diseases. So basically, certain foods that Latin Americans eat, what I'm saying, cause sickness, what I'm saying. It's like kind of like when they're like, oh, Latinos and blacks have high instances of this disease or that disease, or they're more susceptible to this or that. So a lot of that stuff, or at least half of it, we can control. So they were just telling us about the different foods that they eat in their diets that may be
Mm-hmm.
harmful to them and things like that. So we had to go into like a hospital, and then we got to look at like urine samples and feces samples, looking for parasites and stuff like, just
Oh
different little
wow.
stuff like that. Learning new stuff. I learned a lot about Dominican culture, Latin American culture. I learned a little bit about speaking the Spanish language, and then during my free time, we would go to the beach and kicking and stuff. But I spent a lot of time volunteering, um, helping people. I was going to an orphanage during the week, and then on the
Awesome.
weekends we would go to like different community centers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. So, what was one of the foods that they eat that cause diseases?
I think the main one was pork. They eat a lot of pork.
Wow, really?
Yeah, definitely. But I think they cook it a little different, like African Americans. It ain't good for you either way, but like we fry it, we like deep fry it. Like when we cook our bacon, it be like brown and crispy, but like down
Mm-hmm.
there they bacon it still be like pink and stuff. Like they don't make pork chops like how we pork. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Yeah.
So
So then, also in 2016, you studied abroad in Brazil. So, and you studied Portuguese, Brazilian history, and what was Brazil like? That's the one place I've always wanted to go.
oh yeah, Brazil was real cool. Very beautiful place, beautiful people, very friendly people. They're a little bit more tapped into the African culture. You know what I'm saying? Brazil,
Okay.
the largest Latin American country in the world, the
Mm-hmm.
largest population of Latin Americans. Brazil is a majority black country. So, during the transatlantic slave trade, Brazil received the most amount of Africans, millions of, I think it was like 4 million Africans, whereas the
Oh,
United States may have received a couple 100,000. You know what I'm saying? So there's way more black people down there than up here.
oh, that's
So
news to me. I wonder if most people even know that.
nah, no, they don't. But
Wow.
Brazil heavy black, but it's still a lot of racism, and they fighting down there too. But their history is similar, but it was a little bit different. So they had a lot more rebellions and slave uprisings and stuff. So in comparison to the United States, like we'll run away, we'll do the Underground Railroad, and we had a couple rebellions, but it's strength in numbers. So when they would rebel, they would build these communities called quilombos. You know what I'm saying? So they'll build a whole new neighborhood, and then a lot of times they would successfully defend it. They would turn it into a city and have a leader and grow food and build, buildings and stuff. And then when the Portuguese or the Europeans tried to, come in, they would defend them. And some of them survived, and then they're Brazilians are very famous for being good fighters. You know what I'm saying? They brought martial
Mm-hmm.
arts from Africa into
Amen.
Brazil. They perform. It's called capoeira. It's a dance, but it's also a martial art. So basically, when the whites were around, the slave masters were around, they would perform capoeira as if they were dancing, they were playing music and having fun. But when the whites went away, they would use these same dance moves as martial arts, defense mechanisms, striking and blocking and counter
Mm-hmm.
punching and stuff like that. So it was very effective and it helped a lot of people get free.
That's what's up, and that's so true, especially on the fighting from martial arts background. Because I'm a big MMA fan, and just came off my head of all the great fighters from Brazil, like Anderson Silva, um, uh, dang, Vitor Belfort, Anderley Silva. I mean, I can go on and on. I think Manny Nunez from Brazil. So, I mean, Jose Aldo. So yeah, that definitely some of the top fighters in martial arts does come from Brazil, and that's awesome. You got to experience that.
Yeah, definitely a blessing.
So it's amazing that you, like we touched on a little bit in the beginning, that you take adults, middle schoolers, high schoolers, college students on educational tours to Africa. When did you start doing that?
I've been doing the tours maybe like the last 3 years, 3 or 4 years. I mean, basically, African Americans, Americans, we have a lot of misconceptions and misinformation about the continent of Africa and African people.
Mm-hmm.
Africa is the most diverse continent in the world. There's thousands of ethnic groups, thousands of languages. You know what I'm saying? Africa has more countries than any other continent in the world. It's almost 60 different countries in Africa. So a lot of times we generalize Africa and African people. You know what I'm saying? Africa, as I mentioned, is very diverse. Imagine going from New York to LA to
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans to Mississippi. Imagine how different those places are. Africa is 100 times more diverse than that. We're going from in North America alone, going from Canada to Mexico to Jamaica to Haiti to
Mm-hmm.
Dominican Republic. You know what I'm saying? It's far more diverse than that. The people look different, the food is different, the weather is different, the language is different. You go from Egypt to Ghana to South Africa to Madagascar. Those are
Mm-hmm.
like different planets almost.
Wow. Man, that's crazy. I really can't wait to travel. Like that's one of my biggest things. Like I just want to travel and experience other things than North Carolina, where I'm at right now. Like I'm from
Oh
originally
yeah,
born in
it'll happen for
Connecticut.
you.
I
Okay.
appreciate. I can't wait. Especially once things get calmed down with this pandemic and stuff, things start opening up. So
Hmm.
what was one of your favorite places in Africa? Like when you used to bring them on the tour.
Man, it's hard to pick, man. Africa is so beautiful. Africa is my favorite place in the world, but I've been to maybe almost 20 African countries. It depends. It depends because like I say, it's so different. So like each tour is different. So say we go to Egypt. Egypt, that's a focus on ancient African history. 5,000, 10,000 years, you know what I'm saying, worth of history. So we go
Mm-hmm.
to the Red Pyramid, the Step Pyramid, the Bent Pyramid, the Pyramids of Giza, the Valley of the Kings, Valley of the Queens, Hatshepsut's Temple, Temple of Karnak, Temple of Luxor, Aswan, Abu Simbel, Cairo, Memphis, Saqqara, all these different places. And we get to see the work that people were doing thousands of years ago, perhaps the most educated people on the planet. And like I said, it cleared up a lot of misconceptions. Slaves didn't build the pyramids. You know, they was free people. They was educated. They got paid for their services. You know, they had
Mhm.
vacation days and sick days back then. And they had currency.
Uh,
You know, so
all
they
right.
had a lot of things. You know, but they didn't have more so. I guess the technology that we have now, you know, like cranes and dump trucks, and that's why it's a mystery to how could these people build such massive and beautiful monuments. You know, it's only seven wonders of the world, but only one exists. The only one you can see is in Africa. The other six was fairy tales, or they don't know what happened to them. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
we go to Ghana. Ghana is a focus more so on the transatlantic slave trade. You know, reconnecting, you know, with that whole experience of being kidnapped and brought to America. That was our last stand, our last frontier. So we go to the slave ports, the slave castles, the slave dungeons. We go into the Ashanti region. We learn about the wars that Africans had with Europeans trying to stop slavery. You know, we learn about the kente cloth, the Dinka printing, you know, different things like that. We go to South Africa. South Africa, that's a focus on apartheid, Nelson Mandela, Winnie Mandela, the
Mhm.
Zulu, you know, the Nkosa, you know, different things like that. So each tour, like I say, is totally different.
Oh man, and that's crazy. You know, I was actually talking with my sister, like last week about like we was talking about African culture and stuff because she was watching this documentary, and she was saying that one of the ladies were talking about like slavery is like she's like it's so small like compared to like all the other history and like African history that we don't even know about. Just like even though like in the US, you know, that's one of the main things they glorify or at least talk about, but they're like there's so much more that you know we come from kings and queens and different parts of the country in Africa, like it's just a small percentage, and I'm glad that you're touching on that now. You know, just you know, letting my audience know like there's so much more to learn about.
Yeah, definitely. That's where it all started at. Africans started, they taught the world music, taught the world how to dance, they taught the world how to look at the stars and read them. And they was the first doctors and lawyers and judicial systems. They printed the first money, the first checks. They had the first writing systems, the first languages. You know what I'm saying? So any beauty you could find in this world, you could find it in Africa. They, like I say, it's the most diverse continent. So look at the animals that Africa has. We know they got the biggest and the baddest and the best animals, the
True
best
that.
landscapes. Africa got gold, diamonds, platinum, oil, minerally rich. You know, the best beaches you ever see in your life, hands down. Best beautiful people. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I definitely got to visit there, man, for real. So, with you visiting over like 70 different countries and having to learn like all those different languages, which one was the hardest for you to learn and which one was the easiest?
Um, well, I don't speak a lot of languages, but I'm mostly knowledgeable about, you know, English, of course, Spanish. I took some Spanish, some Portuguese, and some French. So all of those are kind of connected. I guess they Latin based. You know what I'm saying? So they're not really hard, but it just take time to keep practicing. And then sometimes if you don't use it for a while, like somebody be like, oh, say something in French, and you be like, hold on, I gotta let me replay my memory.
Yep.
You know, because it may be time may go past where you don't use them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking forward to learning more African languages, you know, something like Swahili or Zulu or something, you know. I would like to learn more.
Awesome, man. And I know we touched a little bit from Brazil about like the different foods and stuff, but with all the traveling you've done, what's one of your favorite foods that people in the US, like where I'm, you know, where I'm at right now and stuff, don't know about or like they need to try? Like, what's your favorite?
Man, that's hard to say. My favorite food. I mean, you just got to try different things. Brazil got some real good food. You would love it. Um, my favorite Brazilian dish is probably like feijoada. It's called feijoada. It's like I guess it would be like some type of gumbo or something. It's like black beans and sausage and vegetables. It's real good. You know, it don't taste like nothing you never had before. Africa got some good food. Africa probably got the best food. You know, they eat pap, injera,
Okay.
Fufu and Jollof and different things like that. So
Mhm.
let me see. Those probably the best places though. Latin America and Africa probably got the best food for sure.
Awesome, man. That's what's up. Like, you're very involved with your community. Like you do fundraisers, back to school drives. You do food drives as well. You give to the community in Cleveland, Haiti, Philippines, and other countries. When did your love start for giving back, and how long you been doing that?
Man, I always been giving back. You know what I'm saying? My whole adult life. I mean, people can give back in many ways. They may be giving back and not knowing. You know what I'm saying? When I was 18, I built a studio, a music studio, and I let
Oh,
kids from all over the city come to my studio and record, giving them an outlet. They may spend hours and come over every day, but that's keeping them out the streets, you know what I'm saying?
amen, amen.
But, more organized forms of giving back. Like I said, volunteering at orphanages, community centers, doing field experiences, tutoring at elementary schools, doing Christmas giveaways. Like this past Christmas, 2020, we gave away like 20 bikes and scooters and
Nah,
skateboards and stuff, to less fortunate families. Doing winter drives, giving away hats and gloves, volunteering at the homeless shelter, donating food, feeding people. I worked with a lot of elementary schools, some in the Philippines, some in Africa, and in America, donating money, donating school supplies, donating
hmm,
books and pencils and doing book bag giveaways and stuff like that. Um, just anything I can, if everybody do a little bit, it'll help out a lot. So,
definitely, man. And much respect for you doing that. Excuse me. Much respect for you doing that because that's something that I'm very involved with the community over here in North Carolina. No matter if that's
oh,
from
okay, that's dope,
Fayetteville,
man.
Springly. Oh yeah, I love it, man. Like there's like no like price, no type of like feeling than just helping somebody. Knowing that they could probably not even pay you back. Just that your little input that you put can really help change their life for the better. And I
Yeah,
appreciate you, man,
definitely.
for doing that for people out in Cleveland to other countries, man. That's amazing, man. I respect you
Likewise,
100%.
likewise.
So you're also an independent hip hop artist too. Like I've seen some of your
Yeah.
music videos on YouTube, and you toured. Well, I won't say toured yet, but basically toured. Traveled with and performed with other artists from different parts of the country. When did your love for music start?
Man, I've always been in love with music. I've been blessed because when I was little, I had older brothers and cousins that lived with us, and my father. So we always had records spinning in the house. My brothers, they had house parties and stuff like that. So I was able to listen to hip hop at an early age. A lot of my friends, they wasn't allowed to listen to it because of the cursing or the lyrics, but I couldn't help it because my family, they played it, they didn't care, you know what I'm saying. But it
Mm-hmm.
affected me positively, you know what I'm saying. And I started writing raps when I was in like fifth grade, but it was just for fun, make people laugh and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then maybe like in middle school, it got more competitive. People start writing songs, and we'd do the karaoke thing with the tape and play the instrumental and record. Then
Oh,
once we
going way
got
back, he said the
grown,
tape.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Because the technology back then, studios was expensive. Like you had to have
Oh
money to
yeah.
go to the studio. It was like a real big thing. So I kind of had my own little studio and then elevated it. And by the time I got grown, like 2003, I graduated. By that time, the computers and the studio thing was kind of big, so we was able to record and put it on CD, and then we made our own mixtapes, and then we would sell them, and we would get in a car, go to different cities. We would drive to like places like Kentucky, Indiana,
Okay.
Detroit, St. Louis, Chicago, and sell our music, pass it out, and it was just great times, great experiences, and then I took it to the next level. Once I've been to all the different states, went to Cali and Miami and all those places. Then I got my passport, and then I started. And then MySpace was popping around that time, so I was able
Oh
to
yeah.
message artists in different countries. So I could message artists in Africa and Amsterdam and South America and stuff, and build a rapport with them, and then they could
Mm.
send me beats and I rap to them. But eventually, I started going to these places and meeting these artists, and then we could perform, we could do music videos, we could write songs together. So
Mm-hmm. That's amazing, man. I'm real proud of you with that, especially
Oh, thank
for
you,
my
thank you.
peeps. We going back even a little bit. Talking about the CDs and starting to
Hmm.
record and stuff like. I mean, you was really out there grinding, traveling. That's awesome, especially nowadays because a lot of the younger people they like that's probably like foreign to them. Like what? Like you don't just upload and just share. Like that. That's
Yeah,
amazing though, man. I'm real proud of you with that. So who was some of your like rappers and hip hop artists that you looked up to?
man. I like the more the conscious rappers, pro black rappers, Tupac,
Yes.
KRS-One,
Yes. There we go.
Ice Cube, Nas,
Uh,
BDP, play people like that. Rakim, I like them too. So,
okay.
but I listen to all of it though. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm,
I like the music that had more content, more of a message to the music that'll make you think. You know what I'm saying?
amen. I love music like that too. That's some of my favorite. We got a lot in common, man.
Oh yeah,
I'm noticing
yeah.
that. Is there any artists that you would love to collaborate with in the future?
Not really. I'll be like an underground artist, people I ain't never heard of and people I ain't never met. I like that a little bit more. I think it's a more laid back type of feel. I mean, I wouldn't mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still independent, so it'll be a big thing. I'd be honored to work with anybody that made it and successfully, established themselves. But I'm more so looking for people that people ain't hip to yet.
I hear that, man. I definitely hear that. So you're also an author too. You wrote a book called Afro Set. When did you decide that you want to become an author?
Man, I don't know when I decided I wanted to be an author. I mean, I always thought about writing a book because I could write raps. You know what I'm saying? I could tell stories and stuff. But this book, it was a historical account. So
Mm-hmm.
I started doing my research maybe like 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't start writing a book until about 5 years in. I
Mm-hmm.
was doing a lot of interviews and talking with a lot of people in my family and in the community. And then they was like, you know what, you should write a book about this. You know what I'm saying? So basically, the Afro Set was an organization that my uncle started. And like I mentioned earlier, they were at the forefront of bringing that African culture and language and history and dance and fashion to the city of Cleveland. Because back then, even now, it's hard to find positive information on Africa and African people or Black people in general. So my uncle, he was one of the people that started that. So Afro is short for African. Some people may think of the hairstyle, but the Afro
Mm-hmm.
set like African set. So they opened up these shops, and in these shops they would make dashikis, dresses, hair wraps, earrings, necklaces, pottery, paintings, different things like that, and then they would sell them into the community. They was like independently funded. They was trying to do like cooperative economics. That's what they was trying to do. So they built a theater. They would do plays and poetry readings and fashion shows, musical performances.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle, he was the minister of information of the organization. So he was responsible for being a photographer. He took a lot of their pictures. He was the editor of the newspaper. You know what I'm saying? So they had a lot of classes too. They had
Mm-hmm.
classes on drug awareness, um, African language, health and wellness. Classes on diabetes, sickle cell, stuff like that. My
Mm-hmm.
uncle, he gave the Black Panthers some money, and he volunteered some of his soldiers to help them, build their health clinic. They would do things like that. They practiced self defense. They would train with the rifles, the machetes, the stakes. They would do military drills. They had a farm that they would go to and they would practice and stuff like that. They did a lot of community policing. If people tried to sell drugs in the community, they would run them out. If people were pimping and prostituting, they would run them out. If the
Oh,
police were harassing people, they would confront them. So it's a very exciting book. It's shootouts, explosions, riots, rebellions. You know what I'm
uh,
saying? It's a very, very exciting book.
definitely, man. We definitely got to check that out for all my peeps out here. That really sounds amazing. I could like just picture right now. I'm a very visuals person. It's almost
Oh,
like
thank you,
one of them
thank you.
crazy movies, But
Yeah, for
short
sure.
movie. I appreciate that, man. I'll definitely link that in the description once this gets uploaded. So, you do so many things. I mean, we've talked from hip hop artist to traveler. I mean, you do so much. how do you manage all that, and what do you do in your free time? Like, you have any hobbies or anything?
Right, right, man. I don't really never have no free time. I'm always writing songs or reading. I read a lot, you know what I'm saying? That'll help you develop ideas and, get things going. Sometimes you feel kind of stale or you get writer's block or you just kind of stuck,
Mm-hmm.
reading. I watch a lot of documentaries, travel, those are things that refresh me, you know what I'm saying? So I try to just try to stay active, man.
Man, that's the best thing you can do. One of my friends always says it's better to stay active than just, staying still.
Yeah,
So, do you have any more books coming out in the
more
future?
settled, I guess, like if I had a wife and kids and stuff. Say that again.
Oh no, no, you go ahead. My connection was going off, but you continuing. What were you saying?
Oh no, no, I was just saying like, once I guess like once you get established, like you have a wife and you have kids, and then you could kind of sit down and you know what I'm saying,
Oh
relax a
yeah,
little bit. But right now I'm just gonna give everything I got right now.
exactly. You're like, I'll rest later on in life.
Good, hopefully.
I was asking, do you have any more books that's coming out in the future for all my audience out here, my peeps? That's why I call my audience.
Uh, I maybe I don't know right now because I'm still promoting the book I just did. So I was fortunate enough to collect a lot of video footage and newspaper articles and pictures. I did a lot of interviews. I was able to film. So I think I want to turn the book into a documentary. Maybe in 2022, 23, I'll do a documentary. But I probably for sure will write other books, but I'm not sure what about. Maybe my life, or something like that.
Definitely, man, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see that documentary, man. I love documentaries. It's like
Oh,
actually,
okay.
I spend most of my time probably watching documentaries if I'm not looking up ways to or people to interview and stuff. Documentaries are very educational, and I love them.
Definitely.
So the pandemic has been crazy and has affected like everyone in some way, shape, or form. So how's the pandemic and COVID-19 affected you?
Man, I think more so mentally, you know what I'm saying? Stressful,
Mm-hmm.
depression, anxiety. I think that's everybody, most people, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to continue to work. Those are the things that help relieve those stressors, you know what I'm saying? Writing songs, you know what I'm saying? Reading,
Mm-hmm.
doing things that I like to do. I still been able to travel. I was in South Africa in October. I was in Ethiopia in November. I came to
Okay.
the USA in December. I went back January. I was in Egypt. I went to Dubai. Then I came back, and I'm gonna go back this month in May. Then I'm gonna go back to Africa. I'm gonna go to Tanzania. So I've been trying to make the best of it. Despite so many people getting sick and so many people dying and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like what's it like in other countries that are faced with this COVID-19? 'Cause I know like on just from the news I've been hearing, it's real restricted as far as the traveling. So is it crazy like how it is in the U.S. with COVID in other countries?
Um, I guess it depends on the country because I was living in Africa during the pandemic, so to my understanding, Africa wasn't as affected as the rest of the world was. They didn't have as many cases. They didn't have as many deaths. I don't know what the situation is now, but I think it's still, a lot lower than the United States. So some African countries remained open, like Tanzania, Egypt, Ethiopia. They never really closed down. Despite the rest of the world kind of closing down. You know what I'm saying? So when you go to these places, the restrictions are not as tight as some other countries like Europe. I think Europe is still closed from this whole time. Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
leave unless it's like you got a special reason or something, but you can't just travel like how it is here in America. But it's a lot of more cases here. It's a lot more people dying here. So it's kind of like out of control really here. Where in
Yeah.
other countries, the numbers, like I said, is a lot lower. So.
Yep, that's like with I was interviewing MB Eileen. She's a amazing artist out there, and she living in Italy right now. And she was
Oh
telling me,
wow, okay.
oh yeah, and she's amazing. Shout out to you if you see this. But she was telling me how crazy like it is. How it used to be so like everything was open. There was so many things to do. To now like it's like you only have very few options of things to do. You can't leave anywhere without a mask. Like it's real strict over there. But that's good that Africa hasn't been affected as much, and was still able to not close down everything and do things. That's amazing. So with you, I know you spoke about your uncle a lot and your family and just all the traveling that you've done. I can't imagine what your answer might be with this question, but what is one of your favorite like quotes or sayings that really get you through either the good times or the bad times?
Let me see. I don't really got no favorite quotes. I know I could tell you one quote I remember offhand. It's a good quote. I
Okay.
think it's Frederick Douglass. It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. So with that being said, I spend a lot of my time and my energy working with children. You know what I'm saying? Because they're a lot more open minded. They receive information a lot better. You know what I'm saying? They're more excited to learn.
Mm, that's
We get
awesome.
older. Once we
Mm,
gone, we kind of stuck in
set
our
in our ways.
ways. So,
I like
yeah.
that. That's a good quote right there. Oh, what can my peeps and all the audience that's going to see this expect from you in 2021?
Oh, 2021. Definitely more music. More traveling. I have a YouTube page, so I'm always uploading positive content about my travels in Brazil or Africa, so they can look forward to more video footage. Definitely more tours coming. I plan to add more countries, add Madagascar, add Tanzania. Give people more options, and so that way they could just see the diversity of Africa. Because I know a lot of people, when we think about going to Africa, we only think of a few places, or even in terms of the United States. Like, most of the Africans we meet, they may be from Nigeria or Ghana or Ethiopia
Hmm.
or Egypt or somewhere. But how many times have you met an African from Madagascar or Seychelles or Zambia or Malawi or Botswana or,
Never,
it's just so many more
never.
places. You feel me?
Hmm. I met a
Yeah.
couple Africans from like Kenya, but that's about
Yeah,
it.
definitely right.
Yep.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of Kenyans here too.
Hmm. So, is there anyone that you want to give a quick shout out to, or just a big thank you for all the stuff that you've done and all the help that you've gotten as
Man,
we
I want
about
to
to wrap
thank
up soon?
you.
Oh
I
well,
want to thank you for
thank you.
allowing me to come on this show. I truly appreciate you taking out the time to let me, talk to people about my journey. And thankful for any and everybody. You can reach out to me if I have questions about travel or the book, or you need any type of historical information. I am a historian of Black history, world Black history, global Black history, African history. So
Definitely. And where can people find you? Like, what's your social media stuff or website they can find you at?
my website is campcleveland.org, campcleveland.org. I'm on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube as Camp Cleveland, CAMP Cleveland.
Awesome, man. I'll make sure I put that in the video in the description. Cam Cleveland, thank you for joining me here on the People's Choice podcast. Definitely welcome anytime you want to come on the show because I know you're about to do some more traveling and stuff. So I can imagine some more stories
Yeah.
we'll have, in the future.
All right. Until next time, family. Peace.
Yes, sir. You take care, brother.
Thanks, bro.
Later.
Mhm.